like it or not, we have to exit. It's as simple as that.
And the deadline was this evening for indicative bids for Limited. Have you got a bid in?
Yes, Clive.
Why?
Obviously, because it's not for sale.
Do we have a question here, please?
Yes, no, assets in limited, so why bid for it?
Tim, you know me, I sit on the SCG.
I'm not speaking
on behalf of the SCG, and my name is Ray Stevens. Tim, at one of the meetings, can you look me in the eye and honestly say that you never told us that the £45 million was written off? You sat and said that to the whole committee. Don't deny it, Tim, because if you do, you're going to lose all the credibility you've ever had in this club. And that is not
What I said, and in fact, that the value is written down at CISU to nil. Not the debt, the value is nil. So if you were to look in the net asset value for this business in CISU, it is nil.
You make a good politician because they can't speak the truth either, Tim. Also, Tim, your figures just do not add up. You say you're 70 million near enough, 70 million out of pocket now. You're going to go 3 years with a reduced revenue coming in. You're going to pay 30 million, you say, for a new arena. Take it from me, on construction sites, that does not happen. 30 million will go to 35 million minimum, because the contractors have come in with their extras. You're now approaching £120 million. Why the hell, when you came in, didn't you invest that in the players? We might still have been in the Championship. And we might be challenging now, Tim, in getting into the Premiership, not out of League One. You've dragged us down, you've pulled us down into the ground, you're pushing every one of these supporters into the debt, you're not taking notice of 13 million that have signed a petition. Where do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Tim? And where's this faceless woman, Joy Sapella? She hasn't got the guts in to come here and see us.
Ray, will let him answer the question now, please.
He won't answer it.
I don't know where I want to start with that one, Ray. Where do you want to start? Is she faceless? Of course not.
Don't beat about the bush, just answer it directly. That's all we're asking for.
I don't. There's a very.
Well, that's what, hang on, Ray. We need to hear from the front of the table. We've got the microphone now. So, why has some more of that money not been invested in players over the years, Tim, that you might now be in a much better position?
It has, and I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the numbers here, and there is a deficit in terms of players in, less players out. So, for example, if you look at the period 2009-2010, there were 4 players: Dan, Simpson, Fox and Best. And can anybody give me an idea of how much they would have perhaps realised in terms of sales?
Never told us.
So I'm now disclosing it, that's my point. But my point is, what do you think that number is? 6 million, so that was a good answer. So if you look at the numbers that the cash plays in, before that point, it exceeded 6 million, believe it or not. So it's actually about break even. That's where, so money has been spent, but where players have gone, money's been realised, but it's just been circulated in the business.
It's not a cost. Nobody's been spent. We've spent money, we've received money.
So are you saying no money's been spent, that we're sort of back even in terms of transfers? And
It's actually just small down.
Wow.
But there's been, and this is one of the key challenges which people say to me, oh, there's been a load of money made on selling players. Where did that go? Actually, there wasn't a load of money made on selling players. All that happened, it went in.
We don't expect millions spent on players. We do not expect that.
Unfortunately, we can't hear you on the radio when you haven't got the microphone.
So the point the gentleman made is we don't expect millions to be spent on players. But I'm sure he was going to finish off with, but we do expect some monies to be spent on players to bring them in. And money has been spent on players to bring them in.
Let's have another question from the front, please.
Ben from Nuneaton. I've just got a couple of questions. Just wanted to know what on earth is happening with season tickets anyway, not that my second question is, what assurances were given to Mark Robbins? Because clearly something must have happened that he didn't really see a future here at this club. And what assurances have you given Stephen Presley? And my last question is more than pretty much a plea. Why can't you just do the honourable thing, admit defeat, admit you've made mistakes, and just leave this club?
So the season tickets will go, or the pricing will be released at the very moment where we know where we will be playing. We can't do anything about that in terms of, we've got an agreement with the Football League, so the Football League won't allow us to, in effect, announce or go live with ground share until the club, now the Football Club Limited, comes out of administration. Mark Robbins left.
Hang on. So that's the question about Mark Robbins and Stephen Presley.
Mark Robbins left for personal reasons because he was given a deal which, quite frankly, he couldn't turn down.
Why did you have trouble with it? You didn't accept it.
Are you saying that he left purely because he was offered a bigger salary, or was there more to it than that?
Excuse me. So I hate to disappoint you, and we've talked about the gentleman over there saying that football fans are fickle, and then you talk about the fact that Coventry City chose you. But there are 91 other football clubs out there, and equally, some of them actually got more money than us. Now, third point, Stephen Presley. Stephen Presley is fully aware and was fully aware of the situation when he joined.
Is he going to be financially backed?
No, Stephen Presley is obviously financially backed as part of the club. So in terms of the player budget, as I said last week, I was sat with Steve Waggett, we went through the budgets, we were making decisions around those players that perhaps Stephen didn't want, and those players he wants to bring in. And he does have a list of players he wants to bring in by position.
Okay, let's take another question, please.
Hello, I'm Bailey looking. My first question is, how much money are you willing to put into the club if you are the new owners or whatever?
Bailey, that's a good question, son. So what we're doing is making sure that the business is fully funded. Okay, so if Sisu didn't put the money in, then it would run at a deficit. So what they do is they make sure the funding goes in so the books are squared off.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're going to do next season and the season after.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bailey.
There was a third element of this chat's question. Actually, he did ask why don't you move on and let someone else take over the club?
Sisu do not want to sell the club.
Why not?
Why would they want to sell the club?
Because we don't want money.
We don't want you again.
Business point of view, you would never sell at this point in the cycle, ever.
Why would that be?
Because it's a low point in a business cycle and you'd never sell. You would actually realise no value.
Let's take another question, please, from here. Hang on, please. I want to hear the question, please.
I would like to know the situation regarding private seat licence holders
At the Rico Arena.
at the Rico Arena.
Yeah.
First of all, the contract is with Holdings. So it's not,
It's with
the
right-
contract is with Holdings, and we've undertaken to make sure that nobody's out of pocket, nobody's in a worse off position than if they were playing at the Rico.
So how are we going to honour our contract while we have to have our season ticket at the Rico Arena by 3 games into a new season?
Because what will happen is we will put some conditions around it so your rights are protected, so that when you get to the new stadium,
But
then
we
you
don't
will
want
get.
to go to a new stadium, we have our
Well,
own.
actually, there are a number of people over the last few weeks who I've talked to actually would relish the fact of going to a stadium.
We've never as private seat licence holders, we've never had any notification from the
Hang on, let's
company
hear
at all.
the
As private seat licence holders, we've had no notification from the company at all. You have written no letters to us,
And
and
then
no
that-
correspondence at all.
And then that is regrettable, and I apologise.
So what are we going to do about it? Our seats that are padded, we've got our names on them for the lifetime of the arena. What's happening?
Well, just to be clear, and this came out of the newspaper, that there were 1,000 seat holders. In actual fact, there were 512, and that has gone down to 396. and the seat holders keep the seat for every year that they buy a season ticket. And what I'm saying is, if you want to buy a
That's how
season
use of it, Tim. If people aren't renewing, you've lost all those people that bought a seat, they haven't renewed their seat.
The point is you've lost people that
So
haven't
you just said there, how many did you say you've lost?
60%.
It
So
wasn't-
what does that say?
Hang on, let me answer please.
if you don't mind. So what I'm saying is we will make conditions which make sure that you're no worse off either through doing some arrangements at the ground share, but also ensuring at the new stadium you get a deal which makes sure...
Refund the money then, if that's going to be the option, if we can't travel
No.
to where we want to be.
So what if we can't travel to where we're going to play next?
Okay, so you asked whether you'll refund if people can't travel.
Well, actually, let's talk about the travel piece. Our frustration is we can't...
Hang on.
Our frustration is that we cannot announce any of the packages to do with ground share. We've built in a hell of a lot of goodwill, and that goodwill is around making sure that the ticket pricing is reduced for transport, for helping to lay on transport to get people there. At the moment, it's as equally frustrating for us as it is for you. Now, we cannot make those announcements because we cannot, under any circumstances, talk about where it is we're going to play.
Okay, we've only got 50 minutes left, so let's go to another question, please.
Hi, my name is Andy Woodfield. I've been season ticket for nearly 30 years. The 45 million that we owe to Sisu, while I understand that they invested that money, and to begin with, we might have been quite glad that they took us over to keep us out of administration at that point. What I don't understand is they obviously are a firm that are supposed to make money for their investors. At the moment, they're failing miserably in that. I can't believe that their investors are still happy for Sisu to keep on putting money into Coventry City, that are losing money hand over fist every year. I'm glad my money's not invested with them. Not that I've got any. What I'd like to know is long term, how does Sisu envisage getting any money back out of Coventry City for that investment? Because unless you're in the Premiership, which takes an awful lot of investment which they haven't made in realistic terms to get into the Premiership, I just can't see they're ever getting any money back on that investment. So I'm with everybody else. I'm not a Sisu hater, but I'm losing patience. I'm not going to go to Warsaw, wherever else we're going to be playing. I'm going to listen on the radio. I mean, it seemed to, for so long, it's going to hurt me. But I want to know, how do Sisu think they're ever going to get any money back out without selling up, even at a loss?
So as Ray Stevens pointed out, and we discussed previously, the value in the books at Sisu is nil. So it's all been written down. So the view going forward is how can you get some of that money back, and also how can you make money? And there is a long-term play here. So Sisu is made up into sort of two broad areas. If you like, trading, which is short-term, so money is made on a short-term basis, and very, very long-term trading. And this trade, for example, sits in the book, which is a very long-term trade. So there is a projection that this will cost money in the short term, and we went through the business plan, and yes, for the next 3 years it's not pretty, but in the long term, where you create value is around building your own stadium by having, if you like, asset value around that stadium as well. Plus, if you have a business which is break even in that stadium, it becomes very attractive.
Going to see a Coventry City Fans Forum being broadcast live on BBC Coventry and Warwickshire. Take another question, please, sir.
Yes, my name's Barry. I'm from Bedith. And I'm just wondering, up until, 12 months ago, you appointed 5 or 6 directors. And even your own kind have got wise to you. The people that deal with you, they've all jumped ship.
I think Mr. Gilu